Hi everybody, this is Sue. Today is October the 8th, I think. And I don't remember what time it is, but it's early evening. Sun's still out. And today, I thought I'd tell you a funny little story. This happened Monday and Tuesday of this week. My youngest grandson, rather, lives with me. He's 21. He and my oldest grandson, his older brother, both work at Dominos at night. And Dominos is a pizza delivery company. And so anyway, my youngest grandson, Zach, went to work. I thought I was home alone. I mean, I live in a 900 square foot apartment, and I thought I was by myself. So I decided to take a shower. Well, I'm all soaked up and everything, and water's running, and somebody knocked on the bathroom door. And scared me half to death. I was like, who is in my apartment? So I yelled, who is it? And some woman said something that I could not understand what she was saying. And so I shut the water off and I asked again, who is it? And this woman said, what are you doing? And I said, showering. And so I got out of the shower, shut the water off, got out, wrapped up in a towel as best I could, and peeked out the door, and it was my cousin. Now, I couldn't figure out what she was doing there. I mean, her granddaughter's getting married next week, and I've been making masks for her to wear to the wedding and the rehearsal and the rehearsal dinner and all the rest of the stuff that goes with weddings. I've been making her masks to wear to that. So I assumed, since I had finished a mask that day, that she was there to pick up the mask. So I told her, I said, give me a minute. I got dried off as best I could. Put on my nightgown because I thought she's just there to pick up the mask. She's not going to be there very long. So I came out of the bathroom and I took her back here and I gave her the mask that I'd finished and she was happy with it. And then she said, "Are you busy tonight?" And I said, "No, not really. I'm not going anyplace because Zach took the only car we've got to work with him, so I'm home, but I'm not busy. What do you want?" Well, she had lost her phone, and she thought she lost it over at Lowe's. She had gone over to Lowe's to buy plants at the garden center, and she couldn't find her phone. So she wanted me to go with her over to Lowe's with my phone so I could call her phone so we could find it. And she said she thought she left it in one of the carts. Well, if you've ever been in Lowe's, you know when you step in the front door, there's that place there where they've got all the carts, and there's probably 1,000 of them in there. And so she dropped me off at the front door, and then she went and parked the car. So I went on inside, and I was dialing her number. There was no phone there. I didn't hear anything. And I kept thinking, oh dear, as busy as Lowe's was today, because I drove by there, I knew it was busy today. I thought that there could have been 500 carts in and out today. Who knows how far back that phone is, if it's in there, but it wasn't. So we ran around Lowe's. We went out to the garden center. Even though it was closed, the door was still unlocked. So we went out to the garden center. And we ran around in the garden center. And I was dialing her number and nothing. That phone wasn't there. So she said, well, let's go outside. Okay, by this time it's dark. Okay? And so we go around the building over to where the garden center is, and there's a closed door there. So she leans up against the door, and she's got her head up against this door, listening. She said, dial my number. And well, first of all, I need to tell you, I was in my nightgown. My hair was wet. I mean, I was a fright. She kept saying, hey, you look great. And I was like, yeah, sure I do. Thank goodness it's October and it's Halloween month. I should have trick-or-treated while I was there. I'd have gotten a candy bar. But anyway, so she's leaning up against the door, her ear up against the door, and she said, dial my number. And I was like, okay. So I did. Nothing. And I looked around. Here it is. It's dark outside. And here we are, two old women. One with her head up against the door, and me standing there dialing her number. I thought, boy, don't we look innocent. So, after a while, she finally gave up. And she took me, oh no, first I told her, I said, well, maybe your provider, I didn't know who her provider was, they might be able to track your phone by GPS. So we went on a wild ride over to Spectrum, and which is who her provider is. And they said, well, you didn't download your phone onto the cloud, so we have no way to track it on GPS. Now, my grandson, the one that lives with me, when I told him that story, he said no. He said, that's not true. They can track it. They just didn't want to. And so then she took me home. It was about 9 o'clock at night when I finally got home. And so the next day, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, she came back. And she said, can you go over to Verizon with me? And I said, why would you go to Verizon? Your provider is Spectrum. Oh, but I bought my phone at Verizon. But my provider is Spectrum. Well, I need to go over to Verizon. I'm not sure what Verizon was doing in this. I never did quite figure out what the deal was. But we went to Verizon. And they needed my phone to send text messages to. I didn't understand quite what was going on. So anyway, and then they said, well, it'll be maybe 2 weeks before Apple sends you the text message with the code to get into her phone or do whatever it was they were going to do. I said, that's ridiculous. I said, she's running a business. She needs to be able to get into her phone. I said, 2 weeks is just ridiculous. And they said, well, we agree, but that's the way that's the way Apple does it. Okay. So we were there for, seemed like forever, and I wasn't real sure exactly what was going on. And then she told me, she said, when you get that message, then you're going to have to go into my email and set up a new password. Okay, I'll do that maybe, if I can. So then she said, you want to go over to Starbucks and get a drink? And I said, yeah, okay. Starbucks was in the same shopping strip. It was a little strip mall. Verizon was on one end and Starbucks was on the other end. And so we walked down to Starbucks, and we got a drink, and we sat outside on the patio. And I don't like the sun. To me, the sun is very painful. I don't like it. But it was cloudy, and it was windy, and it was cool, and so I agreed to sit outside. Normally I would have said no. And so we sat out there on the patio, and we drank our drink, and we talked, and, and when I got home, I told my grandson about my day. And so the next day, she called me and she said, I found my phone. And I said, oh, where was it? And she said, well, it was at her friend's house. She had gone over to her friend's house to play bridge, and she had dropped her phone in that woman's bathroom. And I don't know why that woman didn't, I must have called Delita's phone 50 times. How come that woman didn't hear it? I don't know. But she found it, I guess it would have been Wednesday. She found that phone in her bathroom on Wednesday. So now the whole drama is all over with. I got the message from Apple, and I called her with the code that they gave me, and she said, oh, I don't need that anymore. I've already got my email set up. And I was like, okay. So anyway, that was my experience with my cousin. So you guys have a nice evening.